Hello there and welcome to She TV, the place to become powerfully feminine from the inside out. And today I'm going to talk to you about the myth of perfection and how to be truly feminine. Before we go there, jump over here and subscribe. I publish every single week on the topics of sexuality, health, and feminine power and energy. So today I'm talking about the myth of perfection. Firstly, I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I'm speaking from direct experience here today, okay? It has been found, especially through the work of Brené Brown, that there is a direct link, as in direct link, between perfectionism and shame. In fact, she is quoted as saying, "Where there is perfectionism, there is always shame." Another way that she speaks about it is that shame gives birth to perfectionism. Now let's be super clear here. Perfectionism is not the same as healthy striving or seeking for excellence. What perfectionism actually is an inner thought process that goes something like this. If I'm just more perfect, if I look perfect, if I live perfect, if I work perfect, if I think perfect and act perfect, then I can possibly avoid shame, blame, criticism, or judgment. And you know, this is something I say all the time to my clients and to my students. You can never control what other people will think of you. So do not use this as an excuse or a reason to continue to hide. Perfectionism is merely a shield to hide behind. It may be one of many, but I know it's a big one. It was for me. Basically, it keeps you small, a diminished version of yourself. It keeps you hiding, not shining, and not creating. And worst of all, it keeps you not shining your gifts into the world. You know, we've been sold a pretty bad bill of goods by the world around us. A bill of goods that says you have to be the perfect woman, the perfect mother, the perfect partner, perfect student, the perfect worker, the perfect salesperson, the perfect coach, the perfect mentor, or the perfect lover. And if you have perfectionistic tendencies, you'll eat that up, that bill of goods. Now, a perfectionist's response to a mistake is basically, I need to be more perfect next time, rather than, wow, I made a mistake, I'm human. Maybe I need to make amends for my mistake. Maybe I can do it a little bit better next time, but let's move on. In fact, in the artificial intelligence and robotics world, when they first came out with the first robotics that were human-like, right? They made them with totally symmetrical faces and no imperfections on their face, and they'd always say the perfect thing. They were weird, right? Really creepy and weird. What they've started to do more recently is they've created these more human-looking, sounding, feeling robotics where the face is asymmetrical, they have potentially wrinkles, they have foibles, and they don't always say the perfect thing. Sounds like anybody you know? In fact, Brené Brown, in her research on shame, vulnerability, and perfectionism, interviewed transformative leaders and CEOs. Across the board, they said, and I quote, "Perfectionism is my greatest enemy. It's really seductive. I'd love to be perfect, but perfectionism stands in the way of me being able to be a transformative leader." Now, what this looks like is you don't sit and try to perfect a newsletter or an email for 3 or 4 hours before you press send. There's no way, if you're running a big corporation or you're an entrepreneur, you can be that level of perfection and get as much done as you need to. It's not possible. Now, in fact, the tech industry's made an industry of this, where they put out hardware and software that's imperfect to the market, and then they wait for feedback from the market before they create software version 1.0 to software version 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, right? It's iterative. There's a changing of and an evolving of, and just like us as human beings, we evolve, we change across time. But that's not about being perfectionistic. I am all about healthy striving and excellence. In fact, I've studied excellence since my 20s. It fascinates me, but not to the cost of getting things done, creating things, and serving my community. Now, here's an important distinction between perfectionism and healthy striving. Perfectionism is externally driven, and healthy striving is an inner drive. Now, in my model on the true and false feminine, okay, which is an important part of my trainings and my model in terms of training around feminine power and energy, perfectionism is the realm of the false feminine, the princess. That is classic princess looking for external validation. The queen, the true feminine, is all about internal validation, seeking internal references for how and why you're motivated to do something. For me, my desire for excellence is driven from inside me. I love to create, I love to inform, I love to teach. So I'm also driven by my mission and my willingness to serve. I make that more important than the perfection of a product that I put out. Very few perfectionists out there publish books, create a YouTube channel, put out videos, write copy, send newsletters. In fact, all of us that are creators know that we're putting out a good version of our product and that we will be iterative, we'll grow, we'll get better at what we do. As Voltaire said, perfect is the enemy of good. Now, if you really, really want to avoid criticism or judgment or blame or shame, then just don't do anything. Don't turn up. Frankly, that's an excuse for you to not step into your power, for you to stay hidden, and for you to not shine your gifts into the world. And by the way, for so many transformative leaders that I know, their gifts have come from their mistakes, their errors, their biggest blunders, and from the most painful experiences they've had in their life. In fact, that's often why they can give so much to other people. Holy moly, if you look back at my early videos 2 years ago, they're not very good. I can promise you, even today, every single video I create for you, I give myself about 1 or 2 minutes when I'm editing the video to constructively criticize it. In that 1 or 2 minutes, I will see where the lighting isn't quite right. The audio didn't quite land the way I wanted to. Oh, I shouldn't have said that in that way. Oh, I should have said something else that I omitted. Every single time I put out a video, that happens. I let myself go through that process, and then I finish up and I do the best product I can with what I've produced, and I publish it, and I move on, and I consider how I can best serve you next. If you liked the video today, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe over here. I publish every single week on the topic of feminine power and energy, sexuality and health. And remember, when you have the courage to go out there and shine, you give others permission to do the same. So let's go out there and shine this week. Bye-bye for now.